What's up, guys? Bad Metal 11 again, bringing you another commentary. Now that Godzilla x Kong has been out for a while and doing well, I figure it's a good time to share how I rank every movie. So get your collector cups and popcorn. Let's get into how I rank movies from worst to best. And sorry about no Godzilla gameplay. I don't have a capture card to record some Godzilla Save the Earth. Sorry, guys. Number 5, Godzilla 2014. Now, this is probably going to be a controversial one with some people, but let me explain. I was hyped for this movie like many others, but the things that made me put it at the bottom of the list, the lack of monster-on-monster fights and cutting away from the fights pissed me off. I know they wanted to focus on the human characters, but if the humans lack depth and development, then I am squirming in my seat wanting to see the monsters again. I would have liked the movie more if Bryan Cranston's character was the focus, because with how much they showed him in the trailers, I thought he was going to have a huge role in the movie. And just like Bryan Cranston being underused, the lack of Godzilla and more of the focus on the Mutos was something I also hated. Now, I've seen someone try to defend that it helps build character for those monsters since we already know who Godzilla is, except this is a new universe. For all we would have known, this version of Godzilla could have had the ability to fart atomic breath out of his ass. The last time we saw Godzilla was in 2004 with Final Wars, so it's been a good 10 years, and if you want to capture, a new audience, you gotta pretty much start from the ground up. And for these reasons, Godzilla 2014 is ranked at the bottom, and I think Godzilla 98 is better. Not ashamed to say it. Screw you, Angry Joe. Number 4, Godzilla x Kong. I had a hard time deciding where to rank this because there are some things I like more about this than GVK, and there are things, I also dislike about it. But the things I dislike about this movie is the plot was way too predictable. Okay, with the exception of Shimu just only being, more of just being under the Scar King's control and not really a bad guy. And the movie did lack the emotional connection with the human characters, especially after coming off of -1. Now, I know -1 is not part of the Monsterverse, but you understand what I mean. The film doesn't have that emotional attachment that you get when you watch -1. Now, I could change my mind about this movie later on, but until then, it remains at number 4 on my list, and the Monsterverse is well overdue for giving us Destroya or Mechaghidorah. Number 3, Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, I think this movie had the potential to be something greater had the Monsterverse done a better job of planning the previous installments. If I was in charge, I would have had Kong's parents get killed by Godzilla instead of the Skullcrawlers, because then you have a better build-up for Kong when he's fully grown and he gets to look at an old foe in the eye. Now, it was cool for Mecha-G to make an appearance, but I think it should have been Mechaghidorah. And as I've gotten older, I do believe good characters are needed in every story, because fire and explosion every second is for kids. With all that being said, number 3 goes to GVK. Number 2, Kong Skull Island. This was a much better movie than Godzilla 2014. It delivered monster-on-monster action, while some characters could have used a bit of work, but this movie does a good job of expanding the lore to the Monsterverse and creating an original story for the iconic King Kong. The Skullcrawlers were a nice addition to continue making new monsters instead of relying on golden oldies, but I think it would have been nice to get a scene with Kong fighting a V-Rex. Despite the movie's flaws and it being better than Godzilla 2014, I award the movie the runner-up spot. Number 1, Godzilla King of the Monsters. This was the true movie we as Godzilla fans were waiting for. This movie gave us the fighting 2014 lacked and brought in one of the most iconic Godzilla foes, along with some fan service. Now, I'm sure if I had time to rewatch the movie more, I'd probably find bad things about it, but I'm also too blinded that I'm happy it's not 2014. I walked out of the theater with a smile on my face, and that's what is important. As of now, King of Monsters is the GOAT of the Monsterverse. So, how do you rank these movies so far? I'd be curious in the comments down below. Until next time, I will see you in the next commentary or playthrough. Peace out.